Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and we're here for week 2 of Christmas in July. And of course, right before I decided to go live, I heard the dog come running into my studio, and she's literally sitting right here on the floor. So, of course, I had everything set up to sit down in my chair, but that's not happening because she's literally exactly where I'm supposed to be putting my chair. So I'm going to stand up today. Too funny. So if you missed last week's Christmas in July, there's actually like a full blog post over on my blog at chrisscreativelife.com. Or if you want to, you can scroll through my Facebook page and there's photos. You can also find the video on YouTube. This video is also streaming to YouTube. So if you're ever like looking for a video, that's probably the easiest way to find a video would be YouTube, because there's not all the other stuff in the middle. But two, if there is a blog post, I also do always try and reference the YouTube video. So today we're going to create another cute Christmas project featuring the long time no see. So last week I used this fun llama, and today we're going to use the little dog, because who could resist a little dachshund in a sweater? Okay, so I think I will add my desk in here now, so you don't have to look at me this close up the whole time, because Emmy is literally in my spot. So we're going to try and work around her and see what happens. Okay, so let's add my desk in here. Maybe we need a little bit more light. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so who remembers in June when we did a series about using the large alphas, right? So the alphas are a new product from the annual idea book. So it's the party alphabets, and the dies are huge. So they're perfect for scrapbooking. But I also wanted to show you that you could totally use them to make cards. So in June, we played around with the alphas. And so that's where the inspiration for today's card came from. Excuse me, sorry. So this is the card we're going to create today. It also features those fun alphas. So I love for Christmas the combination of like pink and green. I think it's just kind of just a fun little modern play on that typical red and green, right? So red, green, and gold, right? So that is what I decided to play with today. So we're going to create this card right now. I did do some of it beforehand, but most of it we're going to do here live. So I did, for starters, I pre-cut my letters. So we're going to use the same sentiment, joy. So I just want to be able to move my dies out of the way. So these are the stamp sets we're using today, right? So I have the long time no see. I have a little cheer. And then I grabbed the falling snow. So you will see, and actually I created the little background before I decided on the other stamp sets. So I'm going to actually show you something. So I did the falling snow on this little piece of Secret Sea with white pigment ink, right? So, and I did do that beforehand because, you know, white pigment ink takes quite a while to dry. So where's my, here we go. So like I said, I did take the white pigment ink on the Secret Sea with falling snow. But that was before I decided that I wanted what sentiment I wanted to use on the card. So I wanted to show you. So I did pick this a little cheer for my sentiment, right? It says Christmas time is here because I thought the font kind of matched the little dog really perfectly too. But so there's actually a snowflake on here. So if you are going to use this stamp set to create your card, you can just use this snowflake with the white pigment ink and then don't worry about the falling snow. So I just wanted to show you that because like I said, I decided on the sentiment for the card after I had already created my background. So, but I wanted to show you, remember to show you that there was a different option for creating the background. Okay, so let's get started. So I just have a basic white card base. We'll just put these up here. So if you guys are watching live, make sure to wish everybody a happy Christmas in July. And if you're watching on the replay, make sure to let us know that you watched the replay. Okay, so I have just my basic white card base. And then, like I said, I knew I wanted to play around with the idea of the pink and green for the little dog. So I have pre-colored one, but I'm going to color one too for you, but I wanted to color it and fussy cut it out. So the colors I actually picked my color theme before I started to design my card. So we're going to use Granny Apple Green, Strawberry Slush, and then I did the dog in Pecan Pie. You could also make him lighter or a different color if you would like. So I did pre-stamp my image with Memento ink and gave it lots of time to dry. And like I said, I did pick the dog from the Long Time No See. Okay, so we're going to put that there, right? So we've stamped our image. I have Granny Apple Green and Strawberry Slush ink also because we're going to stamp ourselves some presents. Then I have grabbed, of course, my favorite embossing folders lately. So the Glass and Garden embossing folders, and we're going to emboss our alpha for the sentiment for the front of the card. And then as far as dies, I do have the stylish dies, which I cut out the strip for the sentiment along with those party alphas, right? So then once I picked my colors, then I went looking for things to support my color choice, right? So one of the new colors of the year is the Strawberry Slush. And, oh, nice. Emmy's moved from right in front of me. So now I can actually sit down. So now I'm back in frame. But so there is a cute little 6x6 paper pack, the 2025 to 2027 6x6 designer series paper. And so I thought that's where I'll start, right? So the pack has some fun prints, right? And all the new in colors. So, right, there's Secret Sea, Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger. This is Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, and Strawberry Slush. And then there's 4 patterns, right? So you get this one with the floral that on the back looks like the distressed ink. And then the other print is this one with the leaves, and then on the back side is like a stripe. So like this. So you get some, I do believe it's 4 sheets of each pattern in all of the colors. So that's where I decided to start from, right? So I picked my color palette and then I start picking my products to play with. So here is, right, that piece of designer series paper. So we're going to add it to my card base. There will be also like a full blog post for week 2 also. And make sure to keep stopping by. Next week we're going to do like a fun fold card. So There we go. Okay, and then because it's Christmas, I wanted a little bit of gold, right? So I used the brushed silver and gold foil paper, and then we're going to use some gold sequins, right? So this is the textured paper, and if I'm not mistaken, it might be on Last Chance, but I do actually, I love that it's got like the texture on it already, but there's also just the plain foil paper, right? Okay, and then like I said, I did pre-stamp the falling snow on the Secret Sea with that white pigment ink, just because we can then make it look like it's snowing behind them, right? So, and by picking this card we used in June, I just wanted to say again, right? So last week also was the same concept, that I want to remind you guys that a resource is valuable, right? So whether it's a workshop guide that you've purchased from me, a downloadable PDF, a freebie PDF, make sure that you're using those things again. That's what they're meant for, right? So it's funny. It looks crooked in front of me, but it's actually straight. So it must be some sort of optical illusion. But anyway, okay. So we've got our layers done. So now let's work on our little sentiment, or big sentiment, if you want to say that. So I did cut the word joy from the Party Alphas, and I've cut like 4 from basic white so that it gives it a little bit of dimension without having to add the dimensionals behind it too, because I wanted it like a solid dimension behind it, not where you're adding dimensionals and then you could get a dip, right? So by doing this, and like I just cranked it through several times, right? We get a nice little base here. And I did, like I said, I used the word joy. So I can actually add this down right now. And then we're going to add our Granny Apple Green, but we're going to run these through the embossing folder first. So I'm just going to actually put my ruler down so that I can maybe get my letters semi-straight. So I did obviously glue these layers together beforehand, because that you do not need to watch. Right, so I'll add my Y and then my J, and then I'll add my O in the middle. I just find it easier to do that this way. Then I can kind of get my spacing right. Okay, and then my little O. There we go. Okay, so then, like I said, I also cut out 1 layer of the Granny Apple Green, and we're going to add the texture from that embossing folder to the top of the letters, and the bottom will be blank, right? So we're just adding another fun layer. You could also, this would be a good one, right? If you wanted to use it for a birthday sentiment. Maybe you'll see a remake later this week. So I'm going to add my word in my embossing folder, and I'm going to crank it through and do them all at the same time. And I want it right so they kind of match up. But we need to flip it over. There we go. Okay, so like I said, I want the blank non-patterned part on the bottom. You could always tape it down, right, if you are worried about it moving. But I'm not overly worried because there's obviously other stuff on top of it too. So if the pattern is slightly off, we're still going to be okay. I'm just going to grab my plates here. Okay. And ta-da. Ooh, it must be staticky in here for some reason today. So now I'm going to glue these down on top of my letters. And by doing this beforehand, I can give it some time to dry, right, while we color the little dog. The glue, holy smokes, the glue gives me a little bit of time to move things around if I need to. There we go. Okay, so I will just put a couple of blocks on top of this and we will keep on going. So like I said, the sentiment that I picked, because I thought this was so sweet, was Christmas time is here. And then we're going to do the presents, right, in the granny apple green and the strawberry slush. So I'll take these out. So we'll do Christmas time is here first. I have an extra one just in case we need it. There we go. Okay, so then we're going to do 2 tall presents and 1 short present. Just so I don't get black ink on myself. So I have a piece of basic white here. And like I said, we got 2 tall ones that are strawberry slush and 1 short one that's granny apple green. Okay, so we'll do our short one first. This would be the tall present, Chris. So we'll just snap that off. Now I have a granny apple green one for another project. Okay, so we want one short granny apple green. So this is the short present. Here we go. There we go. And we'll just make sure this is dry. And I'll use the strawberry slush. You guys have, let me know if you have a favorite Christmas color combination. Okay, so now we've got two tall ones. So one, and I have to say I do absolutely love the new strawberry slush. I actually think I love all of the in colors. Like some for sure I love more than others, but I do love strawberry slush. Okay, so we'll just give this a second to dry and I'll just clean these off. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so these are actually the three we're going to use. And I just did like a really quick fussy cut, right? And it is super, this is a great image, super easy to fussy cut. The other ones too, the star and the stocking and the Christmas tree, there's matching like three little punches, which are super cute. You got to know I'm always going for the cuteness factor, right? So they're like the same size as the whole trio, right? So for like there's a trio that's like a whole punch and then like a slat. I love all those little punches too. I like the big punches too, but the little tiny ones can come in so handy sometimes. Okay, so there we go. We've got one big present. And I always do, like when I'm fussy cutting, do try and like alleviate, like cut off the extra stuff that's all around, just to make it a little bit easier. And I do always try and remember to wear my glasses or we're not going to be fussy cutting very well at all. And I don't cut as well at night, obviously, also. But like I said, this one's super easy. Okay, and then we just need the one short present. And I love the fact that, right, you can change the color combination so easy with this stamp set for the stripes, depending on like what you wanted to do, right? So when I did the llama last week, I did him or her in like traditional Christmas colors. But when I recreated it and created the exact same version, but I did like a birthday version and it matched the celebratory sips paper. And I think it turned out super cute, right? So just because I used it one way doesn't mean that's the only way to use it, right? So because it is Christmas in July, my original one was like a Christmas version. And then I wanted to kind of also do a birthday version. Okay, So I'm going to really quickly color this guy. So I did, like I said, we've got granny apple green for a sweater and strawberry slush. And then I did do the dog in pecan pie. So I'm just going to start with, my light pecan pie, because I always do. But lots of people color in the opposite direction, which is also totally good. Okay, and then we'll just add in a little bit of dark. Add a little bit more definition to him or her. Okay. So then the feet are a very small space. So I actually did them almost all dark. Right, so I can actually, on this side, start with my dark. Not always does my coloring make sense, but it makes sense in my head, you know. Okay, so then I can go back in with my light and bring that color up. And then I will blend it out. And as I get into the smaller sections, I'm making sure my pen is more up and down. And I'll use my brush tip to blend it out a little bit. So cute. I'm just going to make a little tiny bit of a cheek with some strawberry slush. And that will blend itself out a little bit. And if not, I can always blend it out myself. Like to tone it down. Okay, so then we'll quickly do her sweater. So we got some strawberry slush here. And I did, like I said, pre-color her because I don't like to fussy cut her, like fussy cut right away after I've colored with alcohol ink. I like to just give it a little bit of time to dry. So that's why I did actually color her beforehand. But I'll use this one on another project. So this is just the light strawberry slush. Just like, and then I'll just add a little bit of the dark into the bottom and a little bit around her neck. And blend it in. Oh, she's so cute. And then I can just go back and blend it a little more smoothly. Like, and it almost kind of gives you like a middle value sometimes too. Okay, and then just let's finish her off. That's dark. We're not gonna start with dark on the Granny Apple Green. And it's such a small space too. You don't really need to worry too much about like a ton of blending, right? Anybody that's watched me before, I very typically always like lay in my color with the light one, just because that's how I've always done it. So it's hard for me to switch the opposite way, but sometimes I do find it helpful to go the opposite way. And we're just going to, and I do actually really love the brush tips on the blends. There we go. So, but like I said, I'm going to set this one aside, and all we have to do left is put it all together. So here's my sentiment, and I'm actually going to just put some dimensionals on this first. Okay, so it's just going to go like right in here. And then I have this present. I'm going to put it on first, and I'll tuck it in with the dimensional on the top. And if I need to, I can sneak another one on the bottom, but that is kind of it. Well, let's just do that. Let's see. Do I have small ones here? I do. So just on this little corner here. Cute. Okay, so then I put this one here, and I'm going to put the dimensional like right here in the middle. And I can actually put probably another one of the minis right here. And then add my present. Just like that. And then my Granny Apple Green one, I can just like sandwich over top of those two. And it won't need dimension because it's got dimension everywhere underneath. Right? Just like that. I might have to move these, so we're just going to take them back off. I might have to use small ones, I think. All good. So if it's already stuck down really well, you can actually just cut it off with your paper snips. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put my dog down next, actually. So here we go. I want her like right there. So I'm gonna add some, actually put her farther over on the other one, like that. Okay, so I'm actually gonna add a dimensional maybe right there. For her head. And then I can kind of tuck them wherever else I need. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue to her tail. And then we're going to see where I can sneak in more adhesive. Right, so that's kind of where we're going. So there. Cute, cute. Okay, so now let's actually tuck one right there, like that. And I can tuck one right here. And I don't actually even have to pull off the backing if I don't want, but I can. There we go. Cute. Okay, so now we're going to add this. And actually, so it looks like I added that one higher. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to kind of add my dimension onto the card. And I can just tuck one right in the middle there. Oops, didn't come with me. So right there. Let's make the adhesive actually in the right direction there, Chris. Okay, and then pull off my backing and tuck it, tap it down. Okay, so then the only other thing is we need to embellish it. So I have a little linen bow here at the bottom, and then we'll add some sequins. So let's add our bow. So I've just wrapped the twine around twice, and then I could pull my ends in. This bow is going to be bigger than the first one, but that's absolutely okay too. And I will attach it with a glue dot, and then we'll attach our sequins with glue dots, because that is absolutely always my favorite way to do sequins. There we go. Everything is okay. So let's move some of these things up. We've got our 2 cards there. Okay, so here are our sequins. I could just throw a few down onto the lid there. So first, I will tap a glue dot onto my bow and tuck it in. I can just kind of tuck it underneath and then trim it a little bit. Because I've got some crazy ends here. There we go. Okay. That to the side there. Sorry, I can see, the funny thing is I can see the comments coming across the screen, but they don't actually come into my software anymore. So I will try and find them after and address them. So see, you can actually even hear them coming in. It's so funny. Everybody's just got to stop changing technology on me, right? Oh, okay. So I'm just going to take a variety of sizes. And there are 3 sizes in the mixed sequins. So I used 2 large, 2 medium, and 1 of the tiniest. And so I'm just tapping them down onto a glue dot. Okay. And then here's the tiniest. Okay, and the tiniest I kind of added to our present area. And then I have a large one tucked in underneath here. And a medium one. And then I have 2 up here too. So there we go. Okay, so like I said, I think it's super cute. I'm just going to put my sequins back here before I dump them. And put the lid on because that is totally my kind of accident to have. Okay, so now I'm going to actually look for the comments because here we go. I think I can see them this way. Oh, apparently not. Sorry, guys. I don't know why they're making this so difficult today, but they have. So that is what we've got for week number 2. Just one second. I'm just going to turn it to face me. Okay, so here we go. Week number 2 is in the books. And right, so I used this resource, which is still available. This is like too much light. Which is still available on my blog. And like I said, so I did do for week 1, I did a full blog post. There will be a blog post for week 2. And then there will be a resource at the end of the 4 weeks for all of the Christmas in July together, though, versus like releasing it every week. I'm just going to release it once as like a single download. So there you go. That's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed week number 2 of Christmas in July. I do really like doing Christmas in July. I'm not really sure why, but I think it's just kind of fun. A little bit different, right? It's like out of the normal everyday stuff. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Have an awesome day. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.